Move, you're in my way, mopping like a stray dog, marking territory.
A black woman on her knees, a CEO towering over her in his own lobby. She didn't move.
I'll be done in a minute, sir.
His jaw tightened.
Did you just talk back to me?
He stepped closer. 3 executives behind him went dead quiet.
You animals never learn your place, do you?
He lifted his coffee and poured it right onto her arm.
Oh! Now get on your knees and clean that up. That's what you're here for.
Didn't cry. She looked at the coffee dripping down her forearm, then looked at him, straight in the eyes. What this CEO didn't know, that 1 cup of coffee just cost this man $200 million, his career, his reputation, and every ounce of power he thought made him untouchable. 3 days earlier, downtown Atlanta, 42nd floor. Amara Walker sat behind a glass desk the size of a dining table. Morning sunlight cut through the floor-to-ceiling windows and warmed the left side of her face. Below her, the city moved in silence. Tiny cars, tiny people, a world she'd clawed her way above. She was reading. A 2-inch thick file sat open in front of her. Ridgemont Properties, Charlotte, North Carolina, commercial real estate. A mixed-use development in the South End district that was bleeding money. They needed $200 million to survive, and they'd come knocking on her door. Amara Walker was the founder and managing partner of Crestline Capital Group, private equity. Her firm didn't just write checks, they bought futures. And at $380 million in personal net worth, Amara could afford to be picky about whose future she bought. But the numbers never told the whole story. They never did. She closed the file and leaned back. Her eyes drifted to a framed photograph on the corner of her desk. A woman in a blue cleaning uniform standing in front of a row of mops. Younger face, tired eyes, proud smile. Her mother. Amara was 14 the first time she held a mop for money. Baltimore, a law firm downtown. She and her mother cleaned that building every night from 10 to 2 in the morning. The marble floors were cold under her sneakers. The bleach made her eyes water. But her mother never complained. Not once. One night, a partner in a gray suit walked past them. He was on his phone. He finished his coffee, looked at the trash can 6 feet away, and dropped the empty cup on the floor Amara's mother had just mopped. Didn't break his stride. Didn't look down. Her mother picked it up without a word. Amara never forgot that. Not the cup. Not the sound it made hitting wet marble. Not the look on her mother's face. The look of someone who had trained herself not to feel it anymore. That memory built a ritual. Before every major investment, Amara went undercover. She put on a uniform. She grabbed a mop. And she walked into the company she was about to fund. Not as a managing partner, but as the person they thought didn't matter. She picked up her phone and dialed Simone Reed, her chief of staff. I need you to set something up. Ridgemont Properties, Charlotte. I want 1 night with their cleaning crew. Simone didn't miss a beat. You're about to wire $200 million, and you want to go mop floors? I want to see what $200 million is going to be run by. Silence on the line, then a sigh. I'll make the call. 600 miles northeast in a glass-walled boardroom in Charlotte, a very different conversation was happening. Craig Lawson stood at the head of the table. Tailored navy suit, silver cufflinks, a smile that looked borrowed from a campaign poster. Behind him, a projector displayed the Crestline Capital logo and the number $200 million in bold green font. The money's practically in the account, Craig told his board. Crestline's legal team is finalizing. We close Friday. Neil Ashford, the board chairman, nodded from the far end. 60 years old, silver hair, reading glasses perched on his nose. He'd seen deals fall apart before. Let's not celebrate until the wire clears. Craig waved him off. Neil, relax. This is institutional money. They don't walk away. The door opened. A janitor stepped in with a trash bag. Young guy, quiet, just doing his job. Craig didn't turn around. He just raised one hand and flicked his fingers toward the door. Not now. Come back when we're gone. The janitor backed out without a word. Nobody at the table reacted. Not Neil, not Trent Holloway, the CFO. Nobody. Because in this building, That was normal. 3 days later, Simone called back. Everything was arranged. A woman named Denise Harmon, night shift cleaning supervisor at Ridgemont, 11 years on the job, had agreed to let Amara shadow her crew for one evening. No questions, no paperwork, just a uniform and a name tag that read, Angela. Denise had her own reasons for saying yes. 11 years of watching Craig Lawson treat her people like furniture. 11 years of silence. She was done being quiet. Wednesday evening, 7:32 p.m., Charlotte, North Carolina. Amara stepped out of a rented Honda Civic in the parking garage beneath Ridgemont Properties headquarters. No jewelry, no makeup, hair pulled back under a plain black headband. She wore a gray cleaning uniform 2 sizes too big, standard-issue rubber-soled shoes, and a name tag clipped to her chest pocket. Angela. She looked like every cleaning woman in every office building in America. And that was the point. Denise Harmon met her at the service entrance. 55 years old, short, built solid, a face that had seen enough to fill 10 lifetimes but still carried a quiet kind of grace. She looked Amara up and down. "You sure about this?" "I'm sure." Denise handed her a mop and a bucket. "Stay close to me. Don't talk to management unless they talk to you first. And if Craig Lawson shows up, keep your head down." "Does he come by often at night?" Denise's mouth went tight. Often enough. The cleaning crew that night was 4 people. Amara, Denise, a younger woman named Rosa, and Gerald, a 61-year-old black man who'd been pushing a vacuum through these halls for 9 years. He had a bad knee, a quiet voice, and the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. They started on the 6th floor and worked their way up. Amara mopped hallways. She wiped down conference tables still covered in coffee rings and crumbs from meetings she would have been invited to in her real life. She emptied trash cans full of takeout containers and energy drink cans. And she watched. The break room for the cleaning staff was a converted storage closet on the basement level. 1 folding table, 3 mismatched chairs, a microwave with a cracked door that didn't heat evenly, no vending machine, no water cooler. The overhead light buzzed and flickered every few seconds like it was dying a slow death. Amara sat there during their 15-minute break and listened. Gerald spoke first. Quiet, matter of fact. 9 years I've worked in this building. Mr. Lawson's never once looked me in the eye. Not once. I could die on this floor and he'd step over my body to get to the elevator. Rosa nodded. Last month he had a janitor fired. Eddie. Remember Eddie? His cleaning cart blocked Lawson's parking spot for maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes! The next morning, Eddie got the call. Denise stared at her hands. 14 complaints filed with HR in the last 5 years, all from people of color. You know how many led to action? Amara waited. 0. The microwave buzzed behind them. The fluorescent light flickered. Amara said nothing, but beneath the table her hand was already on her phone. She opened the Notes app and typed 1 line. 14 complaints. 0 action. They went back to work. 8th floor, 10th floor, 12th. The building emptied out as the evening wore on. By 8:30, the hallways were silent except for the hum of the HVAC system and the wet slap of Amara's mop against tile. Then the elevator dinged. Denise froze. She was 2 hallways over, but she heard it. She looked at Amara and mouthed 1 word. Lawson. 8:47 p.m. Craig Lawson stepped out of the elevator into the ground floor lobby. He was on his phone, 1 hand in his pocket, laptop bag over his shoulder. He'd left something in his office. Irritated. In a hurry. The lobby was still wet. Amara was halfway through mopping it. The pine sol was sharp in the air. That chemical clean smell that sticks to your clothes for hours. Craig walked straight in. Didn't pause. Didn't look for the wet floor sign. His Italian loafers hit the marble and left long brown prints across the section Amara had just finished. He glanced at her. The way you glance at a parking meter. Then he covered his phone and said, "You missed a spot by the door. And next time, move when you see someone coming." Amara gripped the mop. "Yes, sir." He walked on. The elevator swallowed him. Gone. Denise appeared behind Amara like a shadow. Her jaw was clenched so tight, the muscles in her neck stood out. That's every night, she whispered. Every single night. Amara looked down at the shoe prints across her clean floor. She didn't say a word. She just started mopping again. But she wasn't mopping because he told her to. She was waiting. 23 minutes later, 14th floor, executive hallway. The carpet up here was different. Thick, charcoal gray, the kind that absorbs sound so you can hear your own heartbeat. The walls were lined with framed photos of Craig shaking hands with mayors, governors, developers. In every photo, he was smiling. In every photo, the people around him were white. Amara was mopping the tile section near the elevator bank. Gerald was vacuuming 2 doors down. The hallway was silent. Then the corner office door swung open. Craig stepped out, laptop bag on his shoulder, travel mug in his right hand. He was off the phone now. His face was tight. He'd just read an email from Trent Holloway saying Crestline Capital wanted one more due diligence call before wiring the money. It annoyed him. He didn't like being made to wait. He saw Amara, the same woman, same gray uniform, same mop. He stopped walking. "Are you following me around this building?" Amara kept her eyes low. "No, sir. Just working my way through the floors. I already told you once tonight to stay out of the way." "I'm sorry, sir. I'll move." But she didn't move fast enough. Or maybe she moved exactly fast enough and it didn't matter. Because Craig Lawson wasn't angry about a mop or a hallway. He was angry about an email, about a deal that wasn't closed yet, about a world that wasn't bending to his schedule. And she was the nearest target. He stepped toward her, close enough that she could smell the coffee on his breath. "You people, I swear, you get one job, one simple job, and you still can't do it without getting in someone's way." Amara said nothing. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." She looked up. Their eyes met. His was cold. Hers were calm. Then he tilted his travel mug, slowly, deliberately, and poured the coffee onto the floor. It splashed across the tile and onto Amara's forearm. Hot. Not boiling, but hot enough to make the skin flush red in seconds. "There. Now you've got something to actually do." He turned his back and walked to the elevator, pressed the button. The doors opened. He stepped inside without looking back. The doors closed. Silence. Gerald had stopped vacuuming. He stood frozen at the far end of the hallway, eyes wide. Amara looked down at her arm. The skin was already turning red. Small coffee droplets still clung to the sleeve of her uniform. The smell of dark roast mixed with the sharp sting of a fresh burn. Denise came running. She'd heard everything from the stairwell. "Are you okay? Let me get the first aid kit. I'm calling this in." "No." Amara's voice was steady. Not loud, not shaking, just steady. "Not yet." She looked up. Above them, mounted in the ceiling corner, a small black dome. The security camera. Its tiny red light pulsed like a heartbeat. Amara pulled a phone from her uniform pocket. She took one photo of her forearm, the redness already deepening. Then she took one photo of the camera. She typed a text to Simone Reed. One word. Confirmed. Then she put the phone away, picked up the mop, and cleaned the coffee off the floor. Not because he told her to, because every second of it was on camera, and she wanted the footage to show exactly who she was, and exactly who he was. Thursday morning, 8:15 a.m., Atlanta. Amara sat in her corner office at Crestline Capital. The sun hit the glass desk the same way it did every morning. The skyline below was bright and clean. Everything looked the same as it did 3 days ago. But nothing was the same. She wore a tailored charcoal blazer, gold earrings. Her hair was down. On her left forearm, a white bandage covered the burn. First degree, documented at an urgent care clinic at 6 a.m. that morning. The medical report listed the cause as contact with hot liquid, workplace incident. She had the receipt, the photos, and the doctor's signature. Simone walked in carrying the Ridgemont file. She set it on the desk and looked at the bandage. "How bad?" "Bad enough to matter." "And the footage?" "Ridgemont's security system is covered under our due diligence access agreement. We have legal right to request any facility recordings within the audit window." Simone sat down. She already knew what was coming, but she asked anyway. So what's the play? Amara didn't blink. Pull the deal, all of it, 200 million.